because you've talked about your agent quite a bit,
Mhm.
lots of people want to know, how did you find your agent and with what manuscript and all of that?
Okay. So the interesting part of this story is the original story that got me my agent, we still haven't sold. And I just revised it again and we're going to put it out again. So here's the history. Here's my history. And I'm speaking to all of you who are just starting out or who have been in the trenches for a long time. I joined 12 by 12 in 2017. And when I found it, I was like, hot damn, there's people in this group that have books on the shelf at the bookstore. Like, this isn't a bunch of just randoms, like, so, this book is in the book. I can see this book. This book is a library. This book, there's webinars by people I've heard of. Like, what is this? And so I was silver the first year, and I was just dying to be gold. And then, so that was 2017. 2018, I got gold. I think Rachel was, because would the first agent have been in January or February?
Yeah, January, February, and that's the spot that Rachel used to take. I
Yeah, so
remember.
I think she was February. So I sent her a manuscript, and then in May she replied back and was just like, "This is really cute. I really like your writing. Feel free to send some more in the future." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Immediately sent stuff that May, and then didn't hear from her. I think I've made a note of this too, my actual timeline, because it's crazy. Didn't hear from her after that May one. Sent her something else and was like, "Hey, Rachel, just checking in, wanted to send this to you again." 2019, like a full year later, she said she was searching through her emails looking for that original manuscript I sent as part of 12 by 12 because she couldn't stop thinking about it. And found the other emails that I had sent her that she hadn't replied to. She's like, "Oh, sorry for not replying. I've been swamped. I like your work, but I don't know that I have the space to take on another picture book author. But feel free to just keep sending me stuff." So this was February 2019. I think I sent her something again in March, and then I sent her an edit of that original one like in June, and then in November, like every couple of months. "Hi, just checking in again." She wouldn't reply. And then March 2020, so this is 2 years later, she said, "Thank you so much for reaching out. Your ears must have been burning because I was just thinking about your work. I went back and was looking at it. I think you're very talented, but I've been a bit hesitant to take on new picture book writings. I've been so swamped. Before taking on a client, I want to make sure that I would be able to sell the work and do it justice. I've been having a hard time." Listen up, everyone. "I've been having a hard time selling books that aren't author illustrator." This is what we hear all the time. And I was just an author. And when I first started, I was very scared. I was like, is this even gonna be possible for me if I can't do art? So she said, "On the other hand, your manuscripts are both character driven and marketable, which is what editors are looking for these days. And I've had my plate full of author illustrators recently, which I all adore, of course, but I've been getting a bit hungry lately for real writers, which you are." And I was like, oh my God, she's hungry for real, right? I'm just a writer and she's hungry for real writers. And she's like, "Please keep sending me manuscripts. Thanks in advance." So she was still like not signing me, but was just open to everything. Then COVID happened in March. And so I hadn't replied to her. We have a hardware store, so we were an essential business and we were ordering toilet paper and cleaners and all kinds of stuff. It was crazy. And then in April, she said, "Hey, just checking in again. I'd like to offer representation." And I was like, holy shit balls. Like it had just been COVID, and I was like, this came out of nowhere, and what's going on? And so it was just that I had kept sending her stuff that she saw potential in. And then we submitted the story, first attracted her to Tundra, and they said, "Well, we're actually looking for different stuff." And I had this idea that kept going in my head in the title with Métis Like Me. I just kept thinking of that title, and I didn't know if it would be marketable or big enough or how it would work. And so we just threw it out to her, Margot, and said, "Hey, this was an idea. Like, would there be enough of a market for this?" And she said, "Actually, I love that idea. It wasn't even written yet. I love that idea. There isn't enough books about that in the market." And now that came out last April, and we've sold over 10,000 copies of Métis Like Me. It ran out of printing twice. So that's how that whole thing started. That's how I got my agent. And so I want to say to everybody, if you're just a writer, people still appreciate and are looking for really good writing. And it's hard, like I can kind of draw, but I'm not an artist. And so what Maggie can do is so good. And what Risa did with Métis Like Me, we get to partner in telling these stories. So once I started thinking of it that way, that they need me too. They need somebody who can write the words that they can draw, right? So yeah, that's the whole story. So if you are just a writer, or if you've submitted stuff and you don't hear back, you might be leaving a mark on someone. Like the fact that she went through her email a year later to find the story, she probably gets tons of stuff, but it just left a mark. And that's what good writing can do. Not to toot my own horn, good writing, but if you can say something that makes a mark on somebody, that's what we're all trying to do anyway. And that worked out.